Hello, this is Noreen from Joya Cards, and today we're doing something different. We're not actually going to make a card, but I'm going to show you how to make a card. It's crazy. All right, what I'm showing you is the thank you die. This thing is fantastic, and if you do some really basic stuff, you can make a lot of really neat cards just quick. I whip these out like you wouldn't believe. So this is the thank you die. It's number 146832, and it makes this die cut. And what I did is followed just a basic rule. I used a 5.5 by 4.25 base. So this is my base. I used a solid color on top of the base that's 5.25 by 4 inches. I used the Designer Series paper. This one just happens to be Tropical Oasis, and that is a 5 by 3.75. So that is the front. And then I use some basic dies for the background of the thank you. So whenever you're doing a card, you got to think of all your colors and how things pop out. If I would have put this thank you on top of this really busy Designer Series paper, it wouldn't pop out. It would look kind of funny. So you have to have something solid behind it to make that, come out at you. And the reason why that I'm assuming that you're interested in Stampin' Up! Is because everything matches. If you go to the mini catalog and pull up Tropical Oasis, if you notice here, here's all the colors they coordinate with. So if you go and say, I really like this paper, which is in fact the one here, then you're going to go, okay, what is this color of the flower? You're going to go, oh, it's real red. So I grabbed the real red as the background. I also looked in this and said, well, what's the green? Because I needed some things to be different. And that I chose Pear Pizzazz. So that's why this coordinates. And that's why Stampin' Up! Is great, because all the papers coordinate with all the dyes and the inks and everything else. So this is great. So this is Tropical Oasis. And then I just, in the middle here, I use that. Now, what I used for these backgrounds here are a number of dies. And this is another reason, if you're going to get a lot of dies, you need to stock up on the ones that you're going to use a lot, like rectangle stitch frames. If you've seen any of my videos, you're going to know I use these a lot. These are fantastic. And you can make different things. So like with the rectangle stitch die, I made these two cards here. Now these are from Golden Honey. Yep, these are from Golden Honey. So these are fantastic. And I used the same DS paper, but when I used the rectangle stitch frames, I reversed the colors. This is the gold foil. This is the DS paper. This is black, and this is actually black foil here, which I thought would look really nice. But I went ahead and I nested these dies, and if you've seen any of my videos, you'll know that I've done that before. I taped these, the large one and the second largest one together, and I die cut it. And sometimes I'll use the middle piece, and sometimes I just use the frame. Like here, I used the frame, and then I cut the DS paper with the smaller of the two, and I inlaid it. So, and I could have actually done it with this as well, but I didn't. So this is how I made that. And then here's the other way, going the opposite direction. And then you could take the pieces that you're doing when you're cutting up your paper, and you can put them inside. So I use that DS paper again. I used a smaller rectangle like I did on the front. And then this one, I just used the frame and the white paper. So these, you can see how fantastic that is with just two dies and some DS paper that coordinates. So that's the honeybee. And this card is really pretty as well. And this is from Best Dressed. That's that DS paper. And I pulled the color from that catalog, the mini catalog where they have it. And if you notice this die, you might not recognize it because it's one of the new ones. It's from Nature's Thoughts. And this is, I believe it's still available till the end of March. And this is this frame right here. And it's beautiful. This is a great die cut. So that is two die cuts and some DS paper, and then I used just a scrap piece that I cut off because this best dress is that 6x6 paper. So when I was cutting it off, I just took the extra and put it on the bottom. So that's fantastic. So this is a great die, and I've used it a couple of times here. And then here's another one with Tropical Oasis, and this is, I use that frame inlaid as well. And then the backs of the DS paper, they also have the solid. So this is fantastic. And then we're going to get to this one. And this one is, I use so many. This is also Best Dressed. And that purple is absolutely fantastic. That's that Blackberry Bliss, Daffodil Delight, and the Best Dress. And then I use the nested dies on these. And these are great. You see a lot of the stitched nested label dies because they're fantastic, especially if you've got something large like this thank you. And then we've got another one here, and this one's from Lily Impressions. So, and this is great with that yellow. It's nice and spring. I use the back of one of the DS papers as its second layer, its backing layer here, because you can kind of see it on the back. Because a lot of the DS papers will have like a solid or mostly solid on the back, and that's fantastic too. And they're all made to go to each other. So that's another great one. And I did take a little piece, and I didn't want to get too creative with some of these because I wanted you to see how easy it is to just make something basic. But also from Nature's Thoughts, I took that die and put it there. So I'm not even really being all that creative, and I'm making some fantastic cards. Now this one just happens to be one of my favorites as well. It's also Nature's Thoughts on the frame here, but this is from the Birthday Bonanza, and I took the DS paper. Here's the balloons, and then here's the back to one of the other DS paper that has the koalas on it. And then well, you can fussy cut the koala here, but I have one of those scan and cut machines, so because I'm a terrible fussy cutter, and I just cut that out. I cut a bunch of them out. And that's another great thing. If you have one of those scan and cut machines, a lot of these DS papers, you can cut things out, and it's like having another die that you don't have to stamp or anything. So I put him on the front there. And then look what I did inside. I used Stitched So Sweetly. This is a hot one. This is also one of the new ones from the new catalog. And I love the frames. Not only these frames, but these frames I use a ton. And like I said, I took the koala paper and put it in my scan and cut machine, and I cut this guy out. But, you know, you can fussy cut those out as well. But this was just fantastic. So that's that one. And then we're going to go back to Tropical Oasis. And this is just really beautiful. And of course, I did that different kind of inside on that one as well. Now this one I wasn't sure if it would look good because what I used, it was the layered circles. And I thought, well, it's not going to, you know, they're too small to put the thank you, but I thought, you know, if I put two of them together, I'm sure that'll look fine. So I did that. I think it looks good. And the paper is just beautiful. And this purple here, that's the back side of one of the other DS papers. So they're all meant to match. So, and here's the inside. I thought I'd go ahead and do that. And then this one I wasn't sure about either. And this one is from one of the other kits. And you see how when you have something busy, if you don't have something solid going across, it kind of gets lost. So this one's a little lost, but it's still kind of cool. And then I went ahead and put the little flowers inside there. So that's really neat. But here I made, and I could have gone on and on. I could have gone through all my DS paper, Designer Series paper, and made even more of those just from this thank you and some basic background dies, the stitched rectangles, the circles, the nested dies. Stitched So Sweetly is a must-have. And the new Nature's Thoughts is just crazy good. So, I mean, look how many cards that are completely different looking you can make out of just one basic process of the base at 5.5 by 4.25. The background is 5.25 by 4, and then 5 by 3.75. Use one of the frames, stick the thank you on top, and boom, you're done. So that's incredible. So if you would like to receive one of these cards for free, Go on my YouTube and subscribe. If you're a first-time subscriber, you are eligible. But you also have to go on Joy of Cards and join my website as well, so I can actually talk to you. And I'll get your mailing address. And if you're the first of like 10 people will get cards. So all you have to do is subscribe to my YouTube, subscribe to joyofcards.com, say, did I win a thank you card? And I will let you know. And you can pick one out here too. Whichever one you want, say, I like the one with the koala bear on it. Boom, I'll get your address, goes in the mail, and that's it. So this thank you die is a must have. So that's all I got for you today. So you have a good time. Bye.